Hi guys, and welcome to my latest video. I've decided to make like a little mini series of videos talking to you guys about what I feel are the pros and cons of different methods of sourcing, or different sources for inventory. Um, every now and then on the UK reselling group and in the comments, you get the feeling that some people struggle to find good enough inventory. Now, what I want to put out there is always good inventory wherever you are. If you're lucky enough to be living in the Western world, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in, well, depending which parts of Europe, but in the UK, obviously in America, there is one thing, and Scavenger Life often mention this, how privileged we are to be living in a society where there is abundance. Now, to talk about it brutally, people are passing away every day, leaving behind lifetimes of accumulation. We live in a consumer society, and these people have consumed for the 70, 80 odd years, especially obviously the latter part of their lives. And when they pass away, their families don't know what to do with the stuff. It's got to go somewhere. That's where we come in. Also, just generally, look how often people change the items they own. People define themselves through the products that they own. That's why people collect the most random items, not because it improves them as people in any way, but it almost is now where it defines people, what they collect, what they're interested in. And because of that, there's always a free movement of product, where people are not just buying one thing and holding on to it forever and ever. Most of the time, people get bored, they move on, etc. Anyway, I'm digressing and I'm probably just talking a bit of crap there. But my point is, there is an abundance of stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a set of a little, it's only going to be like 3 videos, and they're going to focus on what I feel are your best options for finding stock, and what attitude you need to have when finding stock, because that's very important. Attitude plays a massive part in determining what you find, because it's going to determine your mindset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 3 videos. Today I'm going to talk about charity shops, then I'll make a video talking about boot fairs, and I'll make a video talking about auctions. Not in masses of detail because I'm not like massively in depth. My knowledge isn't massively in depth. I'll put that out there. It's just my experience so far. So if you guys want to know what my thoughts are based on my experience, carry on, watch, and then we can go from there. And what I want to talk about today is charity shops. Now, you often see people complaining about charity shops because their prices are high, or in America, you see people complaining about thrift stores because Goodwill are putting their prices high, or we'll hear stories like Oxfam's so expensive or British Arts Foundation so expensive. Um, Again, this is where the attitude comes in. These guys are not there to make you money. They're there to make themselves money for their charity. They are selling to the end customer, just like we want to sell to the end customer. They're not a trade outlet. They're not a wholesaler. They're a high street shop. They're on the high street for one reason, and that is to get maximum money for the items that they get donated to them. Whether they get them donated for nothing, etc., that's irrelevant. They've got the stuff, you don't. Okay. Now, most of the time, they're going to research. They're going to put the items out at high prices. Obviously, as resellers, you're not going to want to pay those prices because it's going to eat into your margins. So you've got to go in there with the mindset thinking they're going to have missed something because they can't be on the ball on every single item. And that is why, even with all the complaining on the groups, etc., you will still see posts and videos of people making the most immense pickups from charity shops. Nick Hills, everyone knows his videos, and if you look at his videos, he's been picking up some amazing pickups from the charity shop that he's able to then flip onto eBay or Amazon. So because they don't price everything to its actual market value, they do make mistakes, and that's what you're there for. So you've got to have that attitude. Don't go in there expecting to find everything at low prices. They will have done their research, and you should expect them to do their research. You shouldn't expect to find things at a good price. You should expect to see the monopoly with tears for tears in the cellophane or stickers all over it for £50. Just expect it. Don't be surprised by it. Don't be disappointed by it. Expect it. You should be focusing and looking on the things that they've missed. So, and that leads me on to my next point. Every source of stock, every source of inventory has its strengths and weaknesses. Okay. Now, when you visit a charity shop regularly, you will get a feeling for the kind of items that are most abundant. And again, it comes down to abundance. If you're going to go into a charity shop and you're expecting, for example, in my case, to find Sony Sports Walkmans or vintage mini disc players and or 1970s amplifiers with wooden frames around them. Oh, if I went in looking for that in every charity shop, I would be sorely disappointed because that kind of item does not, I'm sure it does, but it does not come up often. It doesn't come up often at all. Certainly not often enough to build an inventory around. So when you go to these places, look at what they have an abundance of, and different stores will have an abundance of different things. I have found a charity shop local to me which does have an abundance of electricals, and I can benefit from that. However, there's other charity shops. In general, you can probably say a lot of charity shops have an abundance of clothing and books. So when you're going there, look at those strengths. Look at can you find a way where you can make money from clothes and books. It's not difficult. You just have to apply yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to look at that. They've got an abundance of this. So if they've got loads of clothes, chances are they're not going to get the price for every piece of clothing right. Um, Therefore, you've got a better chance of finding a bargain, finding that unknown or that not as well known designer brand. And you will see people like Caroline and Bobby Billington as well, picking up amazing finds from these charity shops because they're not going to know everyone. So that's just something to bear in mind. I should also mention Louisa Rogers as well. She makes brilliant YouTube videos about clothes with brands I've never heard of. I've got no clue on. I wear Marks and Spencers, so I'm just I'm inept when it comes to that. However, if the need arose, I would be able to look in, learn, take advantage of that. So go and focus on what the abundance is in that particular store that you visit. And when you're visiting loads of charity shops, you'll pick up an idea of what to expect, and then you can focus on that, and then you won't be as disappointed because you'll come away with more. So like I said, that all leads from your mindset on what do you expect when you go into a charity shop. You shouldn't expect um, unreasonable things. Be reasonable, be realistic, and always remember that these places, they're not the ideal place to source for resellers because they're also focused on the end customer. So you've got to be extra savvy, extra smart, extra extra smart, yeah, about how you approach these places. So that's my opinion on charity shops as a source of inventory. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. Leave comments about whether you think I've got a point here or whether I'm talking carp. Please do so. Leave them in the comment section. I'm always interested to hear. Like I said, what I'm planning on doing is then making a couple of other videos where I will talk about boot fairs and the attitude you should have for approaching a boot fair, what to expect, and then I will do the same with an auction. So I hope you found this video useful. If you'd give it a thumbs up, and like I said, leave a comment in the section below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.